Hello and welcome. In the previous video, we learnt about bonus shares and stock split. In this video, we will understand what a right issue of a share is. Okay? Now, before I explain you the concept, let me give you an analogy. Okay? Let us say that you go to a market to buy apples. Okay? When you go to the market and when you ask the person who is selling the apples about the price of the apple, he tells or he says 1 kg apple is for 200 rupees. Okay? So if you buy 1 kg of apple, you have to pay 200 rupees. But then he says if you buy 2 kg of apples, you can pay rupees 300. That means if you buy 2 kg of apples, the effective price of a kg of apple will be 150 rupees. Okay? Now, you can go for this. You can go for this, but there is no compulsion. There is no requirement that you have to buy 2 kg of apples. You can buy it, you will get a good price for it, but then if you do not want to buy, it is fine too. Okay? This was just an analogy of a right issue of shares. Okay? This is not the exact example for it, just an analogy. Alright? Now, let me explain you about a right issue of shares. Let us say a company has 10,000 shares, okay, and total owner's money is rupees 50,000. If you have not watched my previous videos and do not know what total owner's money is, then just know that this is the amount that the company has. Okay, this is the amount that the company has to do its operations. Now, the company decides to do something. Alright? So, it may decide to expand their operation. Okay? The company may decide to expand their operation. And to expand their operations, to expand their business, they need 70,000 rupees. Okay? So, they have 50,000 with them, but then they want to expand, and to expand they need more money. And they require 70,000 rupees. So 20,000 rupees more is required. Okay. Now they have options. One is to take a loan from the bank. Okay. And if the company does this, if the company takes a loan from the bank, then it has to pay interest, correct? This is called as debt. So it has to pay regular interest to the bank. So it decides it doesn't want to take a loan from the bank. The second option would be to go for an FPO, follow-on public offer. If the company goes for this, then the shareholders, amount of shareholders will increase. Okay, number of shareholders will increase, and the company doesn't want to have that too. Okay, we have something called as voting rights. Alright, which will increase if they go for FPO, so they do not want to do that. So what is the other option? The other option is to offer a right issue of share. So what the company does is it decides to offer shares to existing shareholders at a discount. Okay? It offers shares to existing shareholders, meaning the ones who are having the shares of the company, not to others. Okay? And this is also done in a ratio. Alright? This is also done in a ratio. So let us say the company decides to offer shares at a ratio of 1:2. Meaning, if a person has 1 share of the company, he is entitled to buy 2 shares at a discount. Okay, 2 shares at a discount. Now let me give you an example and explain you the concept. Alright. Now on the left side is before rights issue, on the right side is after rights issue. Now before rights issue, the market price of the share of the company is 100. Okay, rupees 100. That means if you want to buy one share of the company, whatever the company may be, you have to pay 100 rupees. So it is 100 rupees per share or stock. And let us say a person named Ravi has 100 shares. Okay, 100 shares. So the value of shares owned by Ravi is 100 into 100, which is 10,000 rupees. Okay. So this is the value of shares owned by Ravi. And this is before rights issue. Now let us say that the company decides to issue rights for shares at the ratio of 1:2. Then after the rights issue, we'll come to this later, after the rights issue, Ravi is entitled for 200 shares. Okay, 200 shares. Now, he can buy 200 shares at a discount. Okay, at a discount. Now, what is this discount? This discount will be the discount on market price, or in other words, the price will be lesser than market price. Market price is 100. At a price lesser than market price, Ravi can buy 200 shares. Okay. Now, it can be any value. It can be any value. It will be set by the company. Okay, it will be set by the company. And it depends on various factors too. But do not worry about that. But let us say that the company decides to offer shares at 60 rupees each. So market price is 100 and the company decides to offer extra shares at 60 rupees each. Okay, at 60 rupees each. Now, this is a rights issue. Ravi can exercise the right or he may pass, meaning he can buy 200 shares if he wants. Okay, but if he decides that, okay, I am going to pass this offer, I do not want extra 200 shares at a discount, then he can do that too. Okay, he can do that too. The offer will be given to other shareholders. Okay, now he has an option to buy this or leave it. But let us decide that he decides to buy 200 shares at 60 rupees each. Then the price to be paid is 60 into 200. 200 shares, 60 rupees each. So he has to pay 12,000 rupees. So after rights issue, total shares owned by him is 300 rupees. Okay. Now, what about market price? Now, this market price may fluctuate. It may go up or it may go down. It depends on the perception of the stakeholders. Okay. If the stakeholders, meaning shareholders or the public, thinks that the company will do good in the future, then after the rights issue, market price may go up. Okay. It may go up from 100 to 105. But if the public thinks that rights issue was not a good thing and not for a good cause, then the market price will decrease. So it may decrease from 100 to 95 too. Okay. And according to the change in market price, the value of shares owned by Ravi will change. So it will be either 300 into 95 if it comes down in this case, or 300 into 105. Okay. Now this is not bonus shares. You're not getting something for free. You're not getting something extra. You have to pay here, and you have a choice whether to buy or not. In the case of stock split and bonus shares, it was given to you. They did not ask you whether you want it or not. They gave bonus shares. They split your shares. But here you have an option to buy or not. Okay. Now, why does the company want extra money? It may want to expand its business. Okay, the company may want to expand its business, or the company may want to pay off the loan that it already has. Okay, for many reasons, for other reasons also, the company may want to offer right issues. Okay, and if the company is offering a right issue to expand its business, then it is good, because when the company expands, its business increases and the profit that the shareholder gets also increases. But if it is offering right issue to pay off the loan, then the money that the company gets by selling extra shares goes to pay off the loan. Correct? That means the company is not expanding. That means it is not used for making profit, which is bad for investors. Okay? So when you hear that the company is offering right issue, look at the reason for which it is issuing, whether it is to expand the business or to pay off the loan. This is good and this is bad. Now this is general, okay? This is general opinion. This is good, this is bad. So you cannot predict market. It may go up or it may go down too. This may be good, this may become bad too. So we cannot say it as 100%. Okay? Now, after issuing rights, when the stakeholders buy the shares, the company gets money. Okay, the company gets money. So with that money, the company can expand their business, or they can pay off the loan, or they can do other things too. Okay. Now what happens is, let me go back. What happens is, this would have been increased. Total number of shares could have been increased. Okay. So it was 10,000 shares before, correct? It was 10,000 shares before. And the ratio was 1:2. So accordingly, the number of shares of a company will increase. And when the stakeholders buy the shares, total owners' money will increase, and with that money, they can expand their business or pay off the loan. Okay. Now, next point. As an investor, okay, from the point of investor or stakeholder, let us say that before the right issue, okay, before the right issue, you have 1% stake in the company. That means you own 1% of the equity. All right, 1% of the shares of the company. Now, when the company says that it is going to issue rights, now you have a choice, correct? You can buy extra shares at a discount, or you can pass it on. Now there are advantages and disadvantages associated with this too. If you decide to buy extra shares at the discounted value, then you maintain this percentage intact. Okay, so before rights issue and after rights issue, if you buy the shares, you will be owning 1% stake in the company. But if you decide not to buy the shares at discounted price, and if you decide to pass the offer, then this will decrease. Okay, this percentage that you own in the company will decrease. Alright? So that is the disadvantage of passing the offer. Now, you may have a doubt or a question. You may ask me that, or you may say to me that, I'll buy the shares of the company as soon as it announces right issue or bonus stocks or stock split. And as soon as I buy it, I will be entitled for it. Correct? So that is the question you may ask me. But it is not so. You cannot do that. Alright? Now, if the company announces bonus shares or stock split or rights issue on July 15th, just a random date, then it will say that it will give a deadline before which the person must be having the shares of the company. Okay? So the company says that if you have bought a share of the company before July 30th, then you are eligible for bonus shares or stock split or right. Okay? So these two are just random dates, alright? So if the company announces these on July 15th, then it will say that if you have bought shares of our company before this date, then you are eligible for this. So if you buy the shares on July 14th, then you are not eligible for this. If you buy on 15th, you are not eligible for this. Okay? So you cannot buy the shares after announcement of these and be entitled for this. Okay? So this is not possible. Alright? So that's about right issue of share. I hope you have understood. Now I want to talk about voting rights of shareholders, because people generally confuse rights issue and voting rights. Both are different. Okay? We have learned what rights issue is. Now we shall see what voting rights are. Okay? Basically, shareholders will have a provision to vote on the crucial matters of the company. Okay? For example, if I am the shareholder of a company, let us say Tata Motors, then I will be given voting rights, or I will have voting rights to vote on crucial matters of the company. Now, what is this crucial matter? Now, the company may be changing board of directors, or company may be venturing into a new area. So on these matters, the company will ask the votes from its shareholders. So at that time, we can vote on it, or I can vote on it. Okay? So change in corporate policies, or change in board of directors, or any other financial investments, or operational decisions, or approval of dividends also. Okay? Acquiring other firms or mergers. On all these matters, the company will ask our opinion on the matter, or ask our vote. So we, or you being shareholder, have a right to vote on all these matters. Okay? Now, the thing is, I and you being retail investors, our vote doesn't count much. Okay? Doesn't count much. Now, if you consider political election in a country, for example, if you consider India itself, we can cast one vote, correct? So I have a right for one vote to choose a politician. But when we come for this corporate voting, the number of votes of a shareholder is directly proportional to the amount of shares that they own. For example, if a particular shareholder owns more than 50% of a company's shares, then in that case they have a majority vote or controlling interest in the company. Okay, and their say or their opinion will have a huge impact on the company's policies. Okay, so I will be having 50 shares, you will be having 100 shares, so all these are small amounts, so our votes does not count much. Okay, whereas we have talked about big players, correct? So big players, if they have more than 50% of company shares, then they have ownership of half of the company, correct? So their vote has much more power than ours. All right, so just know that voting right is essentially a right to vote on crucial matters of the company. All right, so I hope the difference between rights issue and voting rights is clear. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and thank you for watching.